Check, check, check. How do I am coming out in the speakers to me hearing it?
Hey everybody, it's Rogue Wildy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to defeat the Cogwork Dancers. I'm using the Hunter Crest, Silk Spear Weaver technique, and I've got the warding bell equipped as well. I'm showing you the route to get there. The bench that I'm using is the one that you can get in front of the first shrine. You just head up and to the left, proceeding all the way down to the end of this room, and then you're going to come into the room where the Cogwork Dancers are located. Along the way you're going to encounter 3 of these enemies here. They drop 32 rosaries apiece, so I've just been killing them every time I do a run to build up my rosary cache. I started this run with about 100, and I finally beat them at around 1800, so it'll probably take you a few attempts to get the patterns down and kind of see where you can and can't stand while you're avoiding these attacks. All in all, it is a pretty straightforward fight, but it does not make it easy. You have to be very focused throughout the battle because it starts to get kind of hectic towards the end. But as the fight starts, you're going to see the 2 Cogwork Dancers. They appear after they've been wound up here. They come out and they'll telegraph all of their attacks with a beam of light that comes out. As soon as they come out, you can start to get a couple of hits in early, but you see how I just stay right out of their range, because once they come down to the ground, they'll do a swipe, and so you have to give them a little bit of space. If you get caught in that, you're going to take 2 masks of damage. For the first stage, it's pretty easy to get through. They don't move so fast that it's not too hard to avoid them. But after this first stage, it does pick up pretty significantly, so you don't want to get too greedy with the strikes here. You just want to get in as many hits as you can, and then also avoid the attacks. So here I almost lose the fight. They also introduce another attack where they disappear, and then you'll see a series of lines appear across the screen. You have to avoid getting caught in there. You'll also take 2 masks of damage if you get caught in that attack. So it's a good opportunity for you to bind if you do need to get any health. And they do use that attack pretty frequently in the second stage. Also, they start to attack. You'll have to catch a little bit more air once they're doing their swipes from left to right or right to left, depending on which side they're on. But just be very careful not to get caught in that, as I've done a few times. And then also, try to time your binds. If they are either in the middle of the screen, you can do that pretty well. But as soon as they've finished a movement, you have enough time. I think I'm actually using the Weave Light tool that you can get from Weave Nest Atla, I believe. So if you do have the Weave Light tool, I'd recommend using it just because it gives you a little bit quicker bind so that you don't have to sit there as long like a sitting duck. I also have the warding bell attached, so at one point I would have taken lethal damage, but I am able to avoid it because of that. I don't have the fractured mask at this stage yet, so that's the reason why I'm using the warding bell. But if you do have the fractured mask, I would recommend using that instead. Also, try to use your Silk Spear when they conjoin in the middle. I think you can get in an attack on both of them there when they're in the middle, so try to do that. You only have to do damage to one to end the battle, so it's hard to stay focused on which is which, so you're going to end up doing a lot of damage to either one, but over the course of the fight, eventually you'll get one taken down enough. Right now I'm in the 3rd stage of the fight. It gets more difficult because now their attacks are no longer coordinated. They're not moving at the exact same time, which makes it a bit easier, but it still gets kind of confusing and hectic there because you have to avoid both of them while they're moving across the screen. So you just have to pay attention to the one that's telegraphing its attack, make sure you're not in its line of fire, and then as soon as you see it start to make its move, pay attention to the opposite one, because now you're going to have to look out for that. That's basically all there is to it. You just have to avoid the attacks and try to stay focused while you're going through this fight. It does get hectic, like I said at the end, but it's not too bad. Once you've defeated one of the 2, it slows down significantly to even slower than the first stage of the battle. So this last part is very easy. Once you've gotten to this stage, you know you're pretty much done.
thank you very much for watching, and if you found it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future content. I'll be uploading more tutorials over the next few weeks, and I'd love for you to join me live on Twitch, where I share gameplay, tips, and behind-the-scenes practice. You can just look me up. My handle is RogueWildy, just like here. Drop a comment also and let me know what you're currently working with or struggling on. That way I can help and make sure you get the tutorials you need to cover what you need in the future. So I'll see you in the next one.